Hi, what if I tell you that ordinary can become extraordinary? Join us for the conclusion of Extraordinary on week 4 of our mini Bible study. Hi, this is Barbara Velez. Welcome to week 4 and our conclusion to our Bible study, Extraordinary. In this week, we are going to talk about our impact and our legacy. We've been talking about how wonderful God had created us. In week 1, we touched bases on our uniqueness and how unique God has created us and how complex and how marvelous God has made us. In week 2, we talk about being ordinary doesn't necessarily mean meaningless. Finding our meaning and in our daily life, and we touch a little bit about the life of David. And week 3, we talk about when we get frustrated or stuck in the everyday life, how our faith will help us and will carry us through those times, and how can we refocus and reframe ourselves to continue growing in our walk of faith and to run our faith race of faith effectively. And this week I just want to bring it home and talk to you for a few minutes about our impact and our legacy, and how sometimes we think so little of ourselves and we think about the now, the moment, the things that are in this moment in time or in this season that we are going through, and we don't have a perspective of our past or our future. And God does have a perspective of where we're coming from, where we are, and where we are going. And that's the beauty of our life, that we might be stuck for now in one moment in time, but our moments and our lives are not defined by that one moment in time. Our lives are defined by a series of things, a series of actions, and sometimes things that we don't even know, or impact that we don't even know we are carrying forth. So I want to talk to you about the legacy that you leave behind as you live your life. People that you will touch along your journey on your own life, that you will probably won't even know that you're touching them, but if you live your life with meaning and purpose and trying to do your best in everyday life, in the everyday circumstances, you can touch people and you can bless people even without not even knowing it, and that impact will carry repercussions for your future and for other people's future. I always like to look at my life as carrying impact in things that I do in everyday life. So I'm not always good at this, and I'm progressive into it as everyone is, but I try to purposely, when I run errands, smile at people and try to do something nice, like for example a smile, a courtesy, or how are you today, not because I have good manners, but because I want people to understand that they matter, that if they're checking me out in the cash register, their life is important. And even though that they might be having a bad day, or perhaps me myself I'm having a bad day, I don't necessarily mean that our interaction should be a gross interaction. So those are seeds that you are sowing in your everyday life, that you don't even know that you're sowing them, but you might be impacting someone just because you smile, just because you did something for your children and someone else looked at what you were doing and was blessed by your action. You never know what your testimony is carrying forth to bless someone else. you must understand also, I want to talk to you about a multi-generational God. God uh, sees purpose and meaning and life in a different way that we do. We see our life from birth to we pass to, and we go to heaven, hopefully, right, if you believe in Christ. But our life are much more than that. My life has an extension in my son's life. And my life is an extension of my parents' life, and an extension of my grandparents and the people that came before me. Because God sees life like that. The seeds that have been sown by my ancestors, I am reaping the benefits today, good or bad. But those things that I'm reaping today don't necessarily mean that I'm stuck with the good or I'm stuck with the ugly. It means that here I am today with something that my generation have inherited, that I do have the power to make better or to turn around if it's not the best situation I'm finding myself in. So when God see ourselves, God see our lives and a life of the people that came before us and the people that are coming after us. And He wants to redeem the time. He wants to redeem us. And I want you to see yourself in that, because sometimes right now, especially if you're a mom, or if you are kind of living a season in life that feels repetitive, if you're a caretaker and you're taking care of your parents right now, or doing something that it feels like, oh my God, how did I came here? How this came to be? It's something that sometimes we think ourselves, and we don't think that it's necessary, but it's part sometimes of our purpose. And if you're a parent, you need to understand and you need to know that maybe perhaps this is a season in which you're not seeing that much of what the Lord has spoke to you, if you're called to the ministry, or if you're called to the leadership position, or if you are called to be working. Because I went through that season when I was a stay-at-home mom, and I felt like I loved what I was doing, but I felt that void because I wanted to be a working person. You know, I wanted to be in an office working, and I didn't have the opportunity, so I was torn sometimes. But I needed to understand, and I needed to embrace the season and know that my season at that point was to nurture my child. Now I'm in a different season. I'm a working mom, and I have to juggle with those things, and I feel myself that I'm fulfilled at work, and I have my challenges there, but I have another set of challenge as a parent of an adolescent. So it's a different set of circumstances, but in a heartbeat, you'll tell me what's your purpose, trying to put the foundation for the ministry and work and be a mother. I will 100% tell you that my first priority is not honor my Lord by raising right a child that is raised right. So that's something that in a heartbeat I will tell you, if I need to make a decision, it will be for my son. It will not be for my work. It will not be for the ministry, because this season in life is for him. It's to make sure that he has all the tools that he needs to become that man of God that will pursue things in the future. And that is something very important that you need to embrace. You need to know your season. You need to know where you're going. You need to know that you'll have time in the future for certain things, but there are times now that are specific for your season, and that sometimes you need to be a mom. The toddler years will never come again. The baby years will never come again. The teen years will never come again. And you're gonna be a mom for that child once, okay? And that is important, because the things that you will learn in that season, you will be able to apply them in another season, and that is okay. So it's very important that you know that you are making an impact, even though in your everyday life your impact and your assignment might be being a mom, or being at work and making an impact where you're at work with your co-workers, or if you are a minister at church, even if it's a small church, even if it's a small place, you are making an impact. If you are faithful in the task that you're being given to work on, you are making an impact. And as I do these videos, I know and I celebrate that I'm making an impact for you that are watching, even though that maybe it's 1 or 2, 3 people. You that are watching, you're important for me, and I'm making an impact for your life and for the people that will come after you and will watch these videos in the future. And that it's important that you know that you are leaving a legacy. You have been given a legacy, because God is a multi-generational God. Those seeds that the people that came before you have grown, have bear fruit. You have become an adult. You have a life. Because of them, they have given you a foundation for this life. Some of you inherited a great set of circumstances. Some of you didn't, and that is okay, because you have given also the capacity and the tools to turn those things around for the better, to continue harvesting good things, or to work a little harder and remove the things that you don't want to keep growing in your life for you and for the next generation to come, and plant new seeds that will bloom later in life. That is your legacy. And I want to close by going to the book of Ruth, and you all can read that book. That will be our final assignment of this week. And I'm just going to share a little bit of the story of Ruth. We all know the story of Ruth. This was a widow that came with Naomi to the land of Israel, coming back after a hard season. They heard that things were going well in Israel, and they were coming back, but they were in a really bad shape. Her husband has died. She was with Naomi right now, and they were pretty much beggars in a land that she was foreign to. She didn't pretty much have a future, and she was in a very deep, difficult situation. And in her situation, her everyday life was just trying to survive one day at a time. And she found herself with the wisdom of the person that embraced herself, Naomi, and Naomi guided her. And she decided to listen to this woman of God, and she found herself turning around her circumstances, being redeemed by Boaz and getting married to her. And not only her, she was able to redeem her story, she redeemed Naomi's stories. And if we go to the book of Matthew, we see that when they are listing the generations to list the genealogy of Jesus, we see her name popping up in this list of people of greatness, of people of ancestry, of people of lineage, all the way to the father of Jesus. This woman, that not necessarily at that point she felt that she had a great, extraordinary life, that perhaps at this point what she embraced was listening to Naomi and trying to survive, that she found herself being a mother, a woman, and carrying forth a generation. Generations later, you see her listed as one of the people, and not any person, a Gentile, in the book of the Jews, listed as part of the family of the Messiah. How wonderful is to see that many generations after, people will look back and will see ourselves and our everyday life and will see, wow, did you remember your grandma or your grandpa, or do you remember such and such person? She did this for me, and it was great. And you probably won't even remember, but you did something. You sow a seed, and you sow purpose into someone else's life. You sow purpose into your futures and for your generation's life. And you have to understand that your everyday life can become extraordinary, but it's your choice to live an extraordinary life in the ordinary of circumstances, knowing, number one, that you are unique and wonderfully made. Number two, that you have the tools and the capacity to live this life. Number three, that you have to to pursue and to run your race of faith, knowing that God is with you and trusting God in everyday life. And number three, knowing that you and number four, sorry, and number four, knowing that you are leaving a legacy behind, for the generations that are ahead of you. So I think that's all for today. I want you to meditate in the book of Ruth, read it, write down the things that you are making an impact right now, the things that you want to make an impact. Also, write down the things that pop up when you think about legacy and the generations that you are leaving a legacy for. In my case, I only have one child. His name is Sam, and I am leaving a legacy for him and the generations that will come after him, that will be my grandchildren. So think about those things. Perhaps you have 2 to 3 children. Perhaps you don't have children at this time, but you have people or nephews or people that you are connected with, that you love and you have embraced as family, and you're leaving a legacy for those people. There's always someone that you can leave a legacy behind that could remember you and that you can make an impact in your life. So I want you to do those things, and that also you go to the book of Matthew and you read that first chapter of Matthew and you meditate on all those people listed there and their legacy in life, and why are they in that particular genealogy, and how awesome it is that most of those people live ordinary life, but they just became extraordinary by being part of the most wonderful story that we know existed, the birth of Jesus Christ. So I think that's all for today. If you enjoyed this series, please subscribe to my channel. Go back, and if you're catching this for the first time, go back and subscribe, watch all the series, and share this series with other people. God bless you.